Hey everyone, it's Desiree and I am here with Scrappy Tails and we're going to have fun with the Cute Halloween Party card kit. Now that card kit comes with the cute, I think it's called, yes, the Cute Halloween Party stencil. It's a 5-layer stencil and it comes with the stamp set. There are coordinating dies available as well and I may pull them in, but I'm just going to focus on the stamps. It also comes with the awesome background stamp. So this piece comes out. You've got these cute little ghosts, all the pieces, and then the background plate, which is an A7 vertical stripe cover plate. And then it also comes with a 6x8.5 double-sided paper pad. So there's 24 sheets, 12 designs, and there's 4 of each design. We're going to have a play with this. Now I am, along with the coordinating dies that I may pull in, I may pull in the Happy Halloween sentiment to make them more general. There will be a couple of the Halloween party invitations, having a play with the pattern paper and the stamp and the die that cuts that out. But let's see what we come up with, and we're going to create 5 cards. So let's get started. So let's start off with our first 3 cards, because they're going to be similar. So I'm kind of doing a production style. Well, no, I'm doing a production style. The pattern papers that I'm using are those that have that already have an image. We can cut them down, add a sentiment, and our card is done. Again, let your pattern paper do the work for you. We spend lots of time creating it, and there's beautiful patterns within it. Now, I've cut those down, and I have them set off to the side like you can see, and I'm taking from the stamp set the indentation. I'm going to call it an invitation maker. I'm changing up the sentiments in the top portion, so I'm fitting each of those in there and then stamping that. Now, I tried to put a one of her sentiments in the banner that's in the center, but I think I was doing a little bit too much of CPR on my stamp, and I lost it. I lost the sentiment, and that's okay. I fixed it, and it gave me a spot to put glue, so we're good. Just saying. Now, these are going to be 5x7 cards. With the items that are in the kit, you have that ability, and I say ability. You're getting the A7 cover plate. You're getting the 5-layer stencil set that'll give you a background that's set for a 5x7 or a slimline card, which I think is great. But that does not mean that you can't make an A2 size card. Now, I'm not going to show that here as I make that statement, but remember, we can take anything in our stash and make it what we want, for the most part. We just need to, and I have to do this too, train our brains. Let's get outside the box. Let's really look at what this piece can do and how we can adapt it. You can see here I'm using vellum, and I'm stamping with my VersaFine Black, and I am stamping twice to make sure that I have a good impression. But again, I am changing that top statement for the invitation. And remember, this stamp set, you've got months, days, numbers that you can actually stamp your entire date and time for your invitation, which I think is really cool. There's very few stamp sets out there where you can build your own invitation. Once I have these done and set, I'm going to fussy cut them. Now there is a die that coordinates with this, but I wanted to cut right up against that line, and I didn't want to lose that, and I just wasn't lining it up right, and I didn't want to fight with it anymore. So I'm just going to fussy cut it. Again, the coordinating dies are available separately. They're not part of this kit. So fussy cutting it is. But the coordinating dies would be, you know, of course, a great addition. You can see I have that black strip. Yeah, I just went. She has some really fine sentiments in that stamp set. I think it is absolutely amazing. And I just pressed down too far. Just totally lost the words in the sentiment to put into that banner. But we're going to fix it. And again, it is going to give me a spot to place glue. Because again, I'm on vellum. Once I have these fussy cut, I did not want to hide what was on the pattern paper. I mean, the bat with the pumpkin is absolutely adorable. We've got the ghosts, and we've got the cat and the pumpkin. So I wanted to create something that would still allow for the invitation to be on the outside, and then still open it so that something could be written on the inside if you're sending it to, you know, maybe your sister or brother, or mom and dad, or someone else close, to, you know, beg them to come to the party. Or maybe everyone's bringing something, so you can put that note inside as well. What you can also do is omit the invitation part and just make them Halloween cards. So again, very simple, but I think they came out really cute. You know, a lot of times we look at those pattern papers and say, you know, what can I do with that? It's so large. You know, how can I make that into a card? Very simple. Very easily. I'm going to mat these onto black cardstock. The black cardstock is cut 5 by 7, and the panels from the pattern paper are cut 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. These are now going to be placed onto a 5 by 7 card base, and we're going to start assembling our cards. Once I have the panels down onto the card bases, we are going to get our vellum panels set. So I'm using that black strip as a spot for my glue. I didn't want to put it on the outside, and I like the idea that you can flip this panel of the vellum if you wanted to look at the cat, look at the bat. So for those two, I've set them off to the side, and for the ghost, I just set it right in the center. You can still see the ghost underneath, and I'm just going to add some of the gems. Now, each of her kits, she has two, a cute Halloween party and a creepy Halloween party, or scary Halloween party, come with 2 packs of embellishments that are for that kit. I'm just placing these bright orange embellishments around, and just setting them around the images to help frame. I'm also using them as eyes for the ghosts, just to accent them. I thought that would be cute, or at least the ones on the 2 sides. And there are our 3 cards. Now, what I did do is with that black strip, and you'll see at the end, I stamped a very fine sentiment that she has in there, and just put a white banner in there. And you can see it. It's just difficult to see in the photos because it's so tiny. All right, let's move on. So let's focus on the images. I pulled out the 3 ghosts, the cat in the pumpkin, and the spider coming from the web. I'm going to stamp them with some VersaFine black ink, and I'm going to, the paper I'm using is my Strathmore mixed media. I'm going to pull out my colored pencils and have some fun coloring these images. There's going to be 2 more cards that I'll be using this ephemera with. So I'm going to stamp them twice. Not sure, how those cards were going to look, but just to make sure that I had enough of the images, just stamp them twice. And I will be coloring them as well, all of them. Now I am going to show all of the coloring. So you can grab your favorite beverage and sit back and enjoy. This is going to be very basic coloring, 2 colors each for each color scheme that I have. So if I have an orange, I've got 2 colors. If I've got this gray that I'm setting inside the eyes, I've got 2 colors. You'll see that some of the ghosts, like the little devil one, really doesn't have a spot for coloring. There I just use a color to accent the accent the cape, and you'll see that. All right, so I'm just going to turn on some music so that you can watch the coloring, enjoy, and I will be back once we are done. We are back, and here are our images all colored. I'm going to grab, here I am going to use the coordinating dies that are available because this just would have taken me forever to fussy cut. We're going to get these run through the die cutter, and we're going to work on our layouts. For the last two layouts, I will be pulling in the A7 cover plate. Always forget, sometimes you just get lost for words there. And then the label piece that goes with that. So here you can see I've pulled some of the pattern papers. I fell in love with the candy corn and that bright lime green. Now, when I die cut the cover plate, I did not have it set right on my cutting pads. Yeah. I kind of forgot one of the plates. So, yeah. Not a worry. Went with it. So I'm pulling out all of those pieces because 90% of it did die cut. The parts that stayed in, I'm keeping those in. I think it looks really cool. It just gave it, I know it's a cute Halloween party, but you have to have a little bit of eeriness in there. Just a little bit. And then I thought there's that one piece of pattern paper that looks like the cover plate. Yes, it is the exact same size as your cover plate. So I'm going to take this, add glue to certain areas, just going to add a dot along those lines just to get them down, and I am going to place this right on that pattern paper. So now I have the purple right in the back. It's a perfect match. I'm going to use my long shears to cut the border from that away, and voila, you have a background. So whether you want to use the die or not, you have that. Now that measures 4 3/4 by 6 3/4, I believe, or it's just a little bit bigger. But it'll fit onto a 5x7 card. I took the separate die to cut the center flourish label, and I did that from the lime green, and I'm going to set that right into the center. I'm going to get this down onto my card base, and we are now going to add some of our embellishments here, which are our stamped images die cut. I pulled also in the Happy Halloween die, and I'm going to place this down onto a piece of vellum cardstock, and I'm going to rip it. I'm just going to tear around it. I love tearing paper. You have to totally enjoy that. I'm just going to tear around it. I thought it was getting just a little bit lost. Even though it was on lime green pattern paper, the stars in the background were black, so it was picking up off of the sentiment. This way it just separates it just a little bit without losing that beautiful detail and color from the pattern paper. For this one, I'm going to add some of the ghosts that we've colored, and I'm going to prop them up as well on double-sided foam squares and just place them around the sentiment. Again, pulling in some of these orange gems so we have some great contrasting colors for Halloween: purple, orange, and green. It's usually always my color scheme too, unless I'm doing a night sky. Gotta have those. I do enjoy making 5x7 cards. For me, it's more real estate. You can put more on it. You can have fun adding more embellishments or more die cut pieces or more layers. or you can keep it very simple and very clean. I just do like that size. It doesn't mean I don't enjoy the A2 size either. But again, like I said before, you can make A2 size cards with this kit. Again, we just adapt our images or our cuts. I took the pattern paper that resembles and is exactly like the stencil, which I think is great. I thought, though, that it wasn't standing out enough. Yes, it was a gray background. The other pattern paper was a black background, but the images were about the same size. So usually if you're putting pattern paper on top of pattern paper, you want your images to be different sizes, larger in the back, smaller in the front, or vice versa. So just by putting a piece of vellum cardstock on top of that gray image, it just does the trick. You can still see them. They still come through, but you're able to help them to stand out just a little bit more. Adding our embellishments as we did before, but keeping the embellishments up onto the vellum cardstock. I added the cat with the pumpkin and added the Halloween sentiment, and I just love this card. I think it's really cute. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed our cards. Here are the 3 Halloween party themed cards. So I have the one with the cat, the 3 ghosts, and then the bat. And again, it's just showing you a way, showing a couple things here, showing a way that we can use those panels that are going to do the work for us. And what's great is by only attaching, because I pressed too hard, so I had that black line, at that black line, you know, you can lift this up and still see your images, which I think is really cool. That bat is just too adorable. And I stamped that ever so fine. I have no idea how she got that so fine. Stamp set that says costume contest, ghoulish, grab, tricks, and treats. So, and I did that on each one with the coordinating ink. So this has the darkest yellow. I went with a purple for, of course, the purple, and then a lime green for the green with the cat. So 3 very easy, simple 5x7 invitations, and then you can just stamp in these areas. Again, still using her stamp because she provides the day, so you can at least put the date in there, and then you can just handwrite on those areas. And yes, you can do that on vellum by just using a Sharpie, and you can see the sentiments that can fit in here. The hey boo, you're invited to a Halloween, and then the trick or treat. So those are those 3 cards there. I think they came out really super cute. And then we focused on some dies and the stamps. So the first one, I used the center, which is the die that coordinates with this from the coordinating die set. Again, not included in the kit, but it is available. And use the pattern paper. So we have this beautiful, bright, vibrant black background with the candy corn. And then I use the ghost, which is what the stencil actually looks like. And just by putting a piece of vellum, the same die cut on top, you're pushing that paper back. You can still see it, but by putting, I used the Happy Halloween sentiment. I elongated the die cut coming off with the spider dropping down, and then the cat. And we used our colored pencils to color our images, and then had fun with the bright orange gems. And then use the A7 cover plate and the paper, the pattern paper piece that matches perfectly with it. Now you may have to turn it, but it does. It matches perfectly. I wanted that purple in the background for this bright green. I added the sentiment on top of vellum. I tore around it. We don't always have to die cut. Then added the 3 adorable ghosts, again accented with our colored pencils. And I actually wanted this to not die cut all the way, and it didn't. And I was able to tear away those pieces and get these remnants left in there. So it looks like a board of some type, which I think is a really cool effect. All right, so those are 5 different cards, 3 of which are invitations and how we can break down that stamp set, and then 2 using the A7 plate. Yes, I did pull in the coordinating die set and also the Happy Halloween sentiment. But you can do so much with this kit, and this is the Cute Halloween Party Kit. So I hope you enjoyed this. Remember, the products that I linked or that I used will be linked down below, and if you have any questions, make sure you leave those down below as well. Enjoy your process. Have fun creating your cards, and let yourself say, oh no, it didn't die cut, and just tear out those pieces and work with that piece to see what you can create. Remember to subscribe, hit that thumbs up, hit the bell so that you're notified when the next video is available. We've got a lot of interesting things that are coming around just around the corner. But continue to enjoy creating your art, and always remember what's most important. Always, guys, be creative. And I will soon be talking to you. Take care.